This announcement by the US government represents one of the most significant escalations in the already tense relationship between the United States and China. And it has potentially far-reaching consequences, not just for international students, but for diplomacy, academia, and global innovation. 1. What's actually happening? At its core, the US has announced a new policy to aggressively revoke and restrict visas for Chinese students, especially those with connections to the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, or studying in so-called critical fields, which many interpret as including artificial intelligence, quantum computing, advanced robotics, biotechnology, aerospace engineering, and possibly more. Yet the definitions are vague. Who counts as connected to the CCP? What exactly is a critical field? And without clarity, this ambiguity leads to mass confusion and fear. The CCP connection problem. As of 2023, around 99 million Chinese citizens were official CCP members. That's 7% of the country, and a huge portion of high-performing university students either are members or have applied, often out of pragmatism rather than ideological loyalty. In elite universities, joining the party can be a career move, much like joining an elite fraternity, business club, or political group in the West. In short, CCP affiliation is not espionage or subversion, so revoking visas based on mere membership could be akin to denying someone entry because they joined a student political club, highly discriminatory and hard to verify. 3. Academia sphere, brain drain and revenue. Crash US universities are deeply reliant on Chinese students. In 2023, approximately 277,000 Chinese students were studying in the US. They're the second largest group after Indian students. They pay full tuition, often at premium private rates, contributing billions in revenue. Beyond money, Chinese students often excel in STEM research, powering labs, tech startups, and academic breakthroughs. Now, there's fear of a reverse brain drain, where talent flows back to China or to friendlier countries like Canada, Australia, or Germany. The political calculus. Trump's 3-for-1 play. This isn't just about education. For former President Trump, who's seeking re-election, this move hits 3 political bases at once. 1. Anti-China sentiment from the trade war and COVID narrative. 2. Anti-immigration rhetoric that fires up the base. 3. Anti-academia populism, painting universities as elite, corrupt, and too cozy with adversaries. It's a headline move in a political campaign, not necessarily a carefully crafted immigration reform policy. 5. Diplomatic fallout, US soft power at risk. The US has historically used education as a form of soft power. Students who study here often go on to become leaders, diplomats, and scientists abroad, advocates for American culture and values, entrepreneurs who collaborate with US companies. By slamming that door shut, the US risks losing goodwill in global academia, damaging its innovation pipeline, pushing future Chinese elites to study elsewhere, perhaps in systems more aligned with authoritarian governance. Even Xi Jinping's daughter studied at Harvard. That kind of access created influence. With that gone, the US may be isolating itself in a crucial arena. 6. The legal and logistical minefield. Already, federal courts have begun blocking or questioning some of these visa revocations, especially those based on unproven allegations. Key issues include due process. Is there a clear way for a student to challenge or appeal a revoked visa? Verification. How does the government determine CCP ties without invasive surveillance or unreliable accusations? Retroactive punishment. Will students currently studying be deported despite previously approved visas? This could flood courts, immigration offices, and universities with uncertainty and lawsuits. Down 7. What this means? Moving forward, universities are panicking. Not just over lost income, but reputational harm. Students are stuck. Many are now unsure if they should apply, defer, or transfer to other countries. Diplomats are worried. This could signal a Cold War-style cutoff of cultural and educational exchange. China is angry. Expect retaliation, whether in trade, tech, or its own visa policies. Final thoughts. This move, on paper, is about national security, but in practice it may be overbroad and poorly defined, politically motivated, damaging to America's global standing in research and education. At best, it's an overcorrection. At worst, it's a self-inflicted wound in the global race for talent and influence.